So this is going to be a familiar scene to anybody who's been following Last of Us, right?
Yeah, this is one of the first cinematics we put out there to kind of show people the game. And incidentally, it's the first cinematic we shot with Ashley Johnson and Troy Baker, who play Ellie and Joel.
Easy. Holy shit. Are we gonna help him?
Put your seatbelt on, Ellie.
Well, what about the guy?
He ain't even hurt.
And here we go.
So where are Joel and Ellie right now?
They've just entered Pittsburg, which is turned into a giant trap where these people are hunters who kill other survivors in order to steal their supplies. So you're about to see these people want them dead. And one of the things that was important for us is that everybody's life is at jeopardy here. So you're about to see Ellie is going to get choked out by this guy, and it's up to you as the player to save her during this instance.
Motherfucker! What's wrong with these guys?
Catch your breath. We're leaving.
Okay. Watch out!
Stay down!
How long have Joel and Ellie known each other at this point in the game?
At this point, I think it's been a couple of days, actually. And the way you see this will play out, it can play out in very different ways. And in fact, the supplies Bruce has on him carries over from the previous sections of the game. So depending on how much you've scavenged, how much you've looked for stuff previously, changes how you would approach this setup.
So you've got a better chance of survival if you keep your eyes open for things you can use.
Yeah, or if you kind of engage with stealth and try to take out these guys quietly.
They seem to really know where you are.
Yeah, so this is using our whole new AI system that we've built for The Last of Us from the ground up. We really wanted, especially for the human antagonism, to coordinate, to surprise you, to think like human beings, and that you should feel like you're playing against essentially other people.
You gotta be close. Start looking.
And here, you heard them, they're searching for you, so they've lost line of sight. So you can constantly kind of dip in and out of stealth as you're fighting these guys.
What was that that just happened there?
So Bruce used a little bit of what we call listen mode, which lets Joel kind of focus his hearing. And he did a takedown. So you could pick up bricks and bottles and throw them at guys to stun them momentarily, and then you can rush them and either take them hostage or, as Bruce did, just try to take them out.
I got him!
And you see the whole time Ellie's acting dynamically as well. So.
Ouch.
Yeah, as you're trying to stealth, and as you're whatever you're doing, Ellie's kind of following suit.
Keep him down!
And that's Bruce Straley, game director of The Last of Us.
Run it again, Bruce.
It's cool. You could just die in your own game. That's fine.
What could he have done better there, Neo?
He could. There's just different strategies he can apply. Running out in the open like that is probably not the smartest thing he could have done.
I'll search out here. Go check the alley.
So you can hear a lot of the dynamic speech is they're going to call out specific areas where they think you are. And actually, each one of the AI, the NPCs, have a certain memory. So they remember where they've searched, and they're going to communicate that to one another.
So So they can remember where you last were.
Yes, and they know where you weren't. As they're going around from the alley to the store, they know where you haven't been. You got this, Bruce. I believe in you.
You son of a whore! Get your hands off! Get this dude!
So you hear again the other NPCs reacting to you having taken one of them hostage. So it was important to us to humanize these guys and show that they really care for one another.
Surround him!
Nailed that guy.
So again, that's dynamic because Ellie hit a guy with a bottle earlier. She tells you that, and she knows when you've lost the guys and when it's the right time to talk.
Asshole, I'm gonna find you.
All right. I think that's the last of them.
Wait.
You okay? Good.
Great job, Bruce.
Hell out of here. You know the drill. Look around, see if there's anything we can use.
So that's it, right? After combat, it's time to look around.
Yeah, it's time to search for supplies. And again, that fight he could have stealthed that whole thing and taken guys out quietly without shooting a single bullet.
Is that way harder?
And it depends on the setup. Some setups are much more difficult to stealth through. And then like the next few setups in Pittsburgh that you run into hunters, you could actually skip those altogether. You could stealth around the guys and leave the area without firing a single bullet. You can see he just found some parts where when he gets to a workbench, he can upgrade his weapons. And all the weapons have different types of upgrades for them.
What you find and how you craft it, as we're about to see, that does have a considerable impact on how the game is played, right?
Yeah, and depending, right, he could craft health kits, which you saw he was using dynamically in a fight. So at no point during the crafting or the upgrades or anything does the game pause. It's all happening live. And the idea was to try to maintain the tension. So as you think you're approaching the next setup, you're kind of trying to assess what the threat is going to be and accordingly craft what you think you're going to need for that fight. Or if you think during that fight you found kind of a quiet spot and you've lost the guys, you could craft stuff there on the fly, but there's always the risk of them finding you as you're crafting the object. And that's where Ellie comes into play, because as guys are rushing you, she's going to call them out, whether they're in front of you or behind you, or if she has a brick or a bottle, she's going to throw them at them.
Maybe we can go through here.
Thanks, Ellie.
We're seeing these beautiful
All right, go.
urban environments at the moment.
See if you can get
But
it popped
there's
open
more
with
to it,
something.
isn't there? Like there's outside, for instance. I know Ellie reacts when she sees nature, right?
Yeah, the game takes place over the course of an entire year, and over that span of time, you're going from, you know, the wild woodlands area to cities to small town and a bunch of other stuff we haven't shown, but the game changes quite a bit over the entire course of it. And here you're about to see one of the optional conversations that the player can engage with Ellie.
Look.
Fucking hunters. See, this could have been us.
Man, that is a lot of people that didn't make it.
I knew I should have turned the damn truck around.
We lived.
Barely. Come on, let's get out of here.
Now the game is littered with these kind of conversations where you hear Ellie and Joel reacting to the environment.
How did you know
Know what?
about the ambush?
I've been on both sides.
Oh.
take that as a yes. I guess this is where the assholes sleep. I mean, slept.
So Ellie's behavior here is all dynamic, where she stops, where she looks around. Sometimes she'll find supplies and give it to Joel. But there's a lot of systems in place for Ellie's AI, both in and out of combat.
So it seems you can find some already crafted, fully formed supplies.
Yeah, and everything we're trying to tie to the narrative. So here, because the hunters live in this camp, you find some stuff that they've already crafted and that they use. And here, as we walk outside, you see Ellie. She's going to spot the pile of bodies and react to it.
I don't think these guys were infected.
Well, it don't matter. Let's just keep moving.
And these things are littered, again, all over the place. Some are on the main path and some are on side paths to let you have all these additional conversations between Joel and Ellie.
All right. Here's the bridge. That's our way out of here. Hey, Ellie, slow down. Wait for me.
What? Right here.
How about you let me go first and keep your voice down?
Okay.
And that's the demo we're going to show today.